Well, I get cracking if you're happy then.
Sure.
Toby, what's different about this week? European knockout. What feels different?
No second chances. For one, I think that there's a real narrow focus which makes it exciting. You really have to be on sharpen the pencil, as it were. So I think that the mentality around that is, as you'd expect, a sort of cup final mentality that changes, and also we're excited that we are flying the flag, if you like, for Wales, and being a team that that people can get behind. Around, instead of all the gloom around Welsh rugby, that there's something to celebrate, and we're hoping that obviously we get a good crowd and people come out and support us, because we want to progress further.
Is that something you speak about? Because you're the only Welsh side in the knockout. Is there any chance for people to go and see a Welsh team in a European knockout this weekend?
The players don't talk about it. The management does. I think the fact that we don't talk about it in that, we are respectful, obviously, and look, everyone's trying to be there, but you create your own destiny, if you like, and I think that there's a massive mutual support for and empathy for Welsh rugby, certainly with region to region for sure. And you get good luck messages, and we support each other because ultimately we want to do well, because it's good in the big picture, for which we all benefit from. So I think from that point of view, if people are sitting on the fence, it'd be great to see people come out and watch.
You're back at Bridgend. I was on a press conference with Alex Sanderson yesterday. You described it as a smart move, good move for you to take it down there when you could have been playing at the Swansea. What's special about Bridgend? And Lance Bradley mentioned yesterday that you and the players had input into the decision to take the game to the Brewery field. What was special about New Year's Day, and what are you hoping to get out of it this weekend?
Well, it's a Welsh derby, so there's a similar emotion element to it, really. I mean, the deciding factor, I think there's a lot of reasons not to take it there as well, right? So because we know we're very familiar with Swansea, we're very familiar with the pitch condition, but we've had a very good cup experience, if you like, there, and a very good emotional experience there. And I quite like, and excuse the sort of, I quite like the earthiness of it all. The feel of effectively an old school rugby club, and I think that. We're a team that work hard and got a lot of grit, and I think at the moment that suits this sort of fixture.
What do you think the Sale players and coaches will make of it? Because they're probably actually one of the more earthy sides within the Premiership, but they'll be used to travelling away to different sort of grounds in the Brewery field. Changing rooms might be smaller. The surface might be different to what they're used to. What do you think they'll think of it when they come down there on Saturday evening?
I think obviously depending on what happens weather-wise before that, they'll be absolutely fine with it. We're actually not doing ourselves. This has actually got nothing to do with Sale, really. It's more to do with the experiences we've had and the group have had. So it's actually nothing to do with Sale, and there could be an argument that it actually suits them too, which it probably does. But ultimately, we want to focus on ourselves, and I appreciate other coaches and other teams thinking about that we've done it for some master tactical sort of reason, but we haven't. We've just done it because we've got a good memory there, a good memory of playing well and fighting and competing, and in cup rugby, that's what you need.
You've got a good chance in this tournament, haven't you? Looking at the draw, the way it's come through, how you'd look at it, in terms of doing well in a European tournament.
I think how I'm going to answer that. In the fact that it doesn't matter what it looks like on paper. It's about getting the job done with the challenge that's directly in front of you. We know that Sale are going to provide a huge physical battle, a huge pressure, a huge commitment and competitive edge. You just had to see where they dismantled Exeter last weekend to see that. And we don't look too far beyond that, to be honest.
Will it be similar to the players you had last week? I suppose Nicky Smith didn't play last weekend. Sam Parry had a few bumps. Are they okay?
Yeah, we'll have to see on Sam. We think we'll be okay, but we'll obviously be a little bit of late stuff on him. Nicky's fine, which is good. We've got a few little bumps, but not too bad. We'll be pretty close, I think.
And what would it mean to get into those last eight? Final one for me, Toby. What would it mean to get into that last eight of the tournament for the prospective game the following weekend for the team, the squad, and the region?
Well, you work very hard, and all your career to create opportunity, and we've created an opportunity to progress in the tournament, much like we did last year. And to get beyond the last 16 is another step forward, and that would be great to do that, and then we'll take it one step at a time if we do that. And similarly on URC terms, to be, your step to the Holy Grail, the next step is getting in the playoffs. So it's a methodical outcome based thing really, and what we do to get there. And we've probably used up some of our 9 lives in URC, on occasions, and we're going to need to be very good in every game from this point on. We're as it's called the business end of the season for a reason. So we need to make sure that we take care of our business, and if we do that and do it well, we've always got a fighting chance. If we don't, we're against good teams that are going to punish you. So that's the challenge that we're looking forward to.
Final one for me. So, sorry, Toby. Your captain last week, he looked 24, not 34, when he was running around the field. He's obviously come back from an injury. He's had a little break. He's had a proper pre-season. How important is he to you, and how long do you think somebody like that can go on with the amount of rugby that he's had?
Tips is, an incredible rugby player. One of the most exceptional people that I've seen on the pitch and off it. And he'll decide. And he's the sort of guy that's going to turn up one day and go, that's it, for sure. Because he knows that what he can do and what he can't do. He has a very high standard of what he does. And the moment he can't meet that standard, he'll decide. And that's what makes Tips what he is.
Toby, as you watched Sale dismantle Exeter, what was going through your mind?
I can't say that on air. But it was very professional, robust, competitive performance. It was what you expect Sale to be, irrespective of, we all have ups and downs and injuries and bits and pieces. We need to know that more. I was looking at that going, that is going to be a very tough team to beat for sure. Because even, I went to the Bath Sale game. They were very, very competitive for 65 minutes. They're a tough team that are not going to go away. So it's going to come down to key moments, I think. I think that it'll be about making sure that you give a true reflection, and they'll be the same of what you are as a team. And then as a result, you've got to nail those key moments, because finals are nailed on, are decided on those execution elements of what you do.
And I guess you could characterise this as a game between two teams that are horrible to play against. That's what you've turned your team into, really. But theirs is very much in that mode.
100%. I take that as a big compliment, especially you.
Well, no, quite rightly so.
No, and that's that's what we want to be, and you want to know if you've got to have to be on it, but haven't got to worry about that in knockout rugby, because there's no second chances. So then it comes down to so if everyone can match the effort and everyone can match the intent, it then becomes, can you do what you want to do and prevent them doing what they want to do, as basic as it sounds. And we hope that two teams get a chance to do that, and that we can get a good spectacle and a good occasion for what we hope to be a really good crowd that comes out on a Saturday night to enjoy themselves.
The one thing about Sale is that they come with a lot of aggression, as you know, but it's that raw power that's thrown at you from everywhere, every minute. Every collision is an assault.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess that's how their coach was brought up and how he played, and he's very much in that mode.
Yeah, I think that it's a old cliche, but it's probably true that your team represent you. As the leader, it represents his leaders. Now, not just single leader, but across the board. And if you're indoctrinated into how you play and the behaviours you want to see, that's what you get. And I think that team absolutely represents Alex and the upbringing he had as a player, but also his time at Saracens and bits and pieces that the sum of the parts, right? So we know that that's going to be extremely difficult to deal with, and we've got to make sure that we are resilient for sure. And also, I'm sure that they're aware that we possess some of those qualities too. So we're looking forward to displaying them.
Do you have a George Ford plan?
Well, according to the press conference yesterday, he's not playing. So,
Right.
But I don't think they are a team that plays games with the selection. So, as one door shuts, another one opens. Greater physicality. Dupree's probably brings a different sort of type. George is probably the most, best game managers out there, along with the ability to unlock a defence. So, from that point of view, the challenge moves to a different form of challenge, but it's still going to be a big challenge.
Now, they came to Wales and lost last year, which shocked a lot of people. And that was a game that launched Azarati and Domachevsky into a different stratosphere. Is this a chance maybe for some of your unsung heroes to show, well, we can mix it in what people would perceive as the big league?
Yeah, maybe. We don't think about it. I've not really thought about it. I think that the sum of the parts is always bigger. We've got a very tight, cohesive group, as you know, that care about each other a lot and care about the standards and its level of performance, and that gets you a long way. And in dark, heavy, difficult moments, that's what comes through. And I know these boys will be certainly up to that task for sure.
Great. Best of luck, fella. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Toby. Just a few from me. You said previously that you're probably more of a cup team than a league team. What is it about these occasions that bring out the best in you?
I think it's twofold, really. I think it's the excitement that comes with it, and one-offs. And we play, rugby for a long time, as in throughout the season. The seasons are long. So if you get chances for emotional spikes, that they are always, always things to enjoy, because you spend a long time trying to qualify for those things. So I think that's big. And also often the grind of playing URC or league fixtures week on week, if you've got a small squad, sometimes can, be quite difficult to motivate yourself, especially if you've not had, if you've had an indifferent season. So I think those two things together, provide, as I said at the very start of this call, we've created an opportunity for ourselves, so we want to make sure that we utilise it, and that's the exciting part of it.
Because obviously you had a European run last year, and you're flying the flag, as you say, in the URC. Just what is the sort of secret of this team?
What is the secret? Well, I think that, you earn your right. You earn the right. I think that I can't talk for others, but why are we where we are? Because we're prepared to grind it and do the difficult stuff that nobody sees relentlessly in order for us to create the opportunity. And that never say die attitude is prevalent of, as I said at the very start of my tenure here, is we want to represent the people of the region. The people of the region are that way, very tenacious and competitive and driven to work hard, and we've got a team that represents them.
Because you mentioned the doom and gloom at the start, and I suppose it's a much needed, it's a context that is required in terms of showing your success, but also it shows just how needed the success is, doesn't it?
Well, I'm a big believer in the glass half full, right? And I often, my annoyance of questions that are looking for the negative. I think that why not? Let's get behind something, even if it's for a moment. I would certainly be, if Cardiff were in a similar position, I would certainly be, not necessarily publicly, but I would certainly be supportive and, wish them well, because if we have a successful campaign, or teams have a successful campaign, more players want to play rugby, more players want to be involved, more players want to come and see rugby. And it can only be good for the health of the game. And I think there's a lot of reasons being put out there, whether it be, and rightly so, the safety, the financial backdrop, the where we are. But once we get an opportunity to get behind something, and in this case it's us, and it might not be us next time, let's get behind it. Let's see what can happen.
Perfect. Best of luck on the weekend, Toby.
Thank you.
Hi, Toby. Coming to the weekend full of confidence after last week, great win against the Lions. And is it a case of showing the same sort of discipline and intensity this weekend now to really give yourself a good chance?
I think, but the simple answer is yes. You need to bring intensity. We're in cup final rugby against a very good physical side that's very well coached, very well drilled. So you certainly have got to make sure that you're aware and up for that challenge. And secondly, discipline's important. Yeah, not just on the penalty count, because that gives people, field position, but also discipline about how you want to play the game and not let the occasion get the better of you. We've got a young team, we've got some old heads in it, which is good. And I talked about balance of your team having enough youth and enthusiasm with enough know-how. So discipline's a good word, and we have actually used that quite a lot, not just as I said, in the penalty count, but on the discipline of how we need to start the game, how the game's going to probably pan out, and rehearse that the best we can.
I bet the players are chomping at the bit this week in training. They've got to be really up for this one. These are the big occasions which all players really look to kind of play to. How are they all feeling, and have you seen a noticeable difference?
They're ready to play on Tuesday, really. Once you announce that, you get your team ready, they were ready to go and excited, and you want to curb that enthusiasm in the right way. There's definitely an edge. There's been an edge, actually, to be fair, most of the year, but certainly, for example, the Lions and Ulster, for example, and even Edinburgh, since we've come back, we know that we've actually created something that we can probably continue with and keep going. We're definitely in the hunt for these things. So I think those two things, give us the opportunity to grab onto something, and that means that you're always hungry.
Does that underdog tag come back in again this weekend, really, where you kind of have that kind of, nothing to lose sort of aspects of the game?
Yeah, I mean, again, no one likes to go and say they're the favourite or the underdog, but, we're a respectful team that get what we deserve often and work hard to get it, and if we're good enough we'll get up. If we're not, we won't. So I think that by itself probably epitomises what we are, and whether we're the favourite or the underdog doesn't really matter. It's all about us being us.
And looking at your selection, really, I was reading something about Ivani Boshov. Is he not available this weekend? One of the Cheetahs. So he's just back for the URC.
Yeah, he's cup tied to the Cheetahs, so he can't play for us. So he won't figure. So we'll have to rejig that a little bit. But that's fine. We've got some good players, so that's no problem.
And the guys that haven't featured in the last couple of games, like Morgan Morse and Dan Edwards, they come back into thinking this weekend now in the squad?
They're in the thinking every week, and they're a situation where we, there's tactical reasons sometimes. So we knew the Lions were effectively enormous. So it made sense, with your back row balance, for example, and how we wanted to play the game. And, we can expect too much out of young players. We have to put them in, take them out, put them in, take them out, give them opportunities to shine. And it's all part of their development to being, the players that they can be and will be. So we're very confident that. We just need to make sure that we are making sure that we've probably got the best team for the occasion, but also developing every player, not just them, as we go.
And you must be thrilled to really have Jack Walsh committing his future to the region as well for a bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I brought Jack here, and from his time at Exeter, and he's been brilliant for us in relation to positionally coverage, but more importantly the way we tried to play. We've scored a lot of tries down the edge, as well as building on our set piece platform. So the amount of tries we're scoring, Jack's got his hand in quite a lot of that, as having two receivers on the pitch, two distributors, having 2 10s effectively, but you've got to balance that out with enough power. So from that point of view, it's and power and speed. So it's all about balance. But yeah, we're delighted to have him around, because he's firmly one of our own now, and it probably speaks volumes that he's enjoying himself and what we're doing here.
Fingers crossed for the weekend. Good luck.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hi Toby. Ellis Jenkins spoke to us earlier this week, and he said he actually made a point of how much he hated playing at Brewery Field back in January. Is it that kind of attitude that you want to inspire in the visitors this weekend? And how much do you think Sale will pose different problems to Cardiff from the January fixture?
respectfully, I don't really bothered what people talk about in relation to it. I've already answered why we're going to Brewery Field. So I think that you want the intensity from the crowd for sure. You know, that intensity, really makes a difference. And getting the crowd in a confined space generates more of it. So the more people that come out on Saturday at 8 o'clock to watch us, the better, and the more people that get behind us, the greater our chances are for sure. So from that point of view, that's really important. And I think that, look, the statistics will tell you, and actually it's similar for Sale, is we're a team that won't go away in the last 20. We'll fight to the bitter end, and Sale are the same. And yeah, what happens, sometimes you get up, sometimes you don't. But obviously the experience, and going back to the experience of New Year's Day, it was dramatic, it was exciting, and everyone went home happy. It was probably one of the worst conditions of all time. Let's hope it's not quite like that. But from that point of view, it was it represented the team that we are, and that tenacity was great. And it just so happens that it happened at Bridgend.